Welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of MILF marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes podcast. This is your host, Bree Carroll, here with another Heart to Heart. So I am excited to share on this episode. But before we get into that, happy Valentine's Day, right? It is February the 14th, the day of love, and I am just really excited to chat with you today on this episode entitled V for Valentine's Day. So this is probably going to be a short one, mostly because I want you to spend more time implementing than just listening to the episode. And I'm going to dive right in because the heart of this episode is truly just that. I want to always provide resources, tips, and tools here on Hearts and Stripes podcast so that you can have a strong military marriage. Now, the way that we implement that here on Hearts and Stripes is with our 3 pillars. 1, we want you to thrive personally in your mindset. We want you to thrive in your marriage. We want you to thrive in building a legacy. But what I have found leaning into this relationship space is that when our relationships are healthy and strong, everything rises up. It's like a rising tide, right? Everything levels up when our relationships are doing really good. So Valentine's Day is the perfect time for us to really get intentional about our relationships. If you have plans this evening, today, maybe even do brunch, that is a great look for Valentine's Day. I encourage you to just get intentional about your relationship. And these 5 V's that I'm going to share today are just a little reminder of how you can do just that. So we're going to dive into it. Here are the 5 V's for Valentine's Day. V number 1 is validate. So this goes back to a level of understanding with your partner. And I'm encouraging everybody today to take time to validate your spouse. That looks like understanding, like I said, but a technique that I'd like to share, and I've talked about a little bit on this podcast previously, is called active listening. And what active listening looks like when you are in a relationship or with your partner having a conversation is it starts with that word that's kind of in the technique, right? Listen. You have to listen. Listen, Linda. So you absolutely need to listen to your partner and truly receive what they are saying. The second part of that step is to show empathy, to empathize with them in a great way to show that you have listened, you have heard them, that you empathize with what they are saying. The third step is to repeat what they have shared. And the reason why you want to repeat what they have shared, you want to use their words or their words as you understand it. It allows them to say, like, you weren't just waiting to respond and fix my problem, right? You were really listening to what I had to say. And by repeating back to me what I've said, you are saying, like, yes, I'm here with you. I'm holding space with you. I am repeating and understanding what you have shared. So that is really probably one of the most critical parts of active listening. And then the best part about active listening is and really validating how your spouse feels is that you're going to normalize their feelings. So here's an example of how my husband and I have done this. I voice concerns about going back to work as a GS or running my own business. And oftentimes I'll just kind of dump some of my feelings about either option, because really no option is bad. Honestly, I just want to do the best thing for our family that sets us up for success. And I love that he is able to utilize active listening and normalize my feelings in a way to say it is okay for you to feel the way you feel. I understand why you are conflicted in this way. I understand why you want to pursue your business, and I believe in you in this way, but I also understand why that's scary. He's telling me some of the things and repeating back to me some of the things that I've shared, and then normalizing that feeling, as opposed to saying like, that's crazy. Why would you feel that way? That's not what we want to do in this exercise. So in validating your spouse, you're utilizing this technique of active listening. And then let me just say a bonus tip or pro tip, as I'd like to say, is utilizing body language, showing that you are open with your body, not having your arms folded and crossed and mugging while your spouse is talking, but in a position to where you're maybe leaning in on like what they're saying as they're speaking, or making good eye contact. That is always a really good one. And even adding touch, maybe as they're talking, you just place your hand like on their arm, and maybe you're just rubbing their arm while they're talking. Those are bonus tips for how you can help validate your spouse, how you can utilize active listening. And validation is our first V for Valentine's Day. So let's get into another V for Valentine's Day, and that is vacation. Come on, somebody who loves a good vacation. I absolutely do. And I feel like I might need one right now. I mean, I feel like I always need a vacation, but that's neither here nor there. Vacation. So planning opportunities for the two of you to connect. And a rule that I like to use in my relationship is, if it is a family trip, like if we are going to visit our brother-in-law's home, or we're going back home to visit my in-laws or my parents, that is not a vacation. That doesn't count. You can determine what you define as a vacation, but that may be something that you both need to get on the same page with. What defines a vacation for you? For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say that it is a time where you can get away with just the two of you so that you can focus on reconnection. So that means other people's agendas are not happening during your vacation, but it's about the two of you and what you want to do and what serves your relationship. Now, I will say, planning may be difficult in this military lifestyle. I totally get it, because my plans change daily. But here are some things that you can keep in mind when it comes to a vacation. One, you can take advantage of these 3-day weekends, these long holidays that we get, depending on what your service members' career field is. Oftentimes, our active duty members will get vacation time or that additional long weekends for federal holidays, right? So plan trips around the times that you know you'll be out. Or I know the kids' spring break is coming up soon. Maybe you send them off to their auntie's house or wherever, and you guys go do something fun, right? So being intentional about looking at that calendar and finding opportunities for trips and fun things for you to connect together. Staycations, that is another great way for you to vacation together, right? It doesn't have to be somewhere far off. It really can be in a local hotel or establishment that you guys can just take the weekend and just connect. I think that's a great tip. And here is a third one for people who are like, but financially, I don't know if I'm in a place or we're in a place to vacation right now. Bree, don't worry. The third one is for you, and that is a mental getaway. Maybe a vacation for you, again, using the initial definition that we talked about, it is intentional time for you and your spouse to connect, just the two of you. Maybe that looks like a mental getaway where you go on a car ride or back down memory lane, or you do some fun activity where you dress up crazy and go to dinner and people are just gonna be looking at y'all like y'all are weird. Like, whatever that looks like, it doesn't have to be a huge monetary to do, right? It just needs to be something that the two of you can reconnect with. Make it fun, make it exciting. Maybe you plan it out together. But there is no dollar sign that dictates what this vacation needs to look like you, because the true value that comes in that time together is just that. the time well spent. It is high value. It's not necessarily the flight, the tickets and all the things that come with that. We can keep it very simple and we can still have amazing vacations and time to connect with our spouse. So that is the second V for Valentine's Day. And now we're going to roll into the third, which is like one of my favorite things, and that is vows. So I don't know how many of you know, but previously in my business, Be Carol Events, we focused on wedding planning, which I have to tell you, my favorite part of any wedding celebration. I have two, but the first is during the ceremony, the vows. Hearing the exchange of the vows, it just hits me every time. I tend to cry. I try not to hold it in because I'm supposed to be, there to support the couple and their family, but it always moves me emotionally to hear the vows because there is just nothing that says I love you like commitment, like covenant. And those vows truly are special. The second thing that I absolutely love about weddings is like partying on a dance floor, but that's for another episode. Or maybe you can use that in vacation. Maybe you can add some dance floor, some moves in there for your vacation. But we're on vows, and the point that I wanted to emphasize here for Valentine's Day is maybe take some time to reflect on your vows, to remind one another of the words that you said, the commitment that you made for one another. And this may be a beautiful opportunity to come together and maybe, if you really need it, hit the reset button on your relationship. Looking at those vows and the things that you shared to one another on your wedding day, whether it was a big celebration or the courthouse, it is going to add value to your relationship. And if you do need to hit that reset button, I encourage you to do that right in time for Valentine's Day. So let's go into the fourth V for Valentine's Day, and that is value. Value is the fourth V for Valentine's Day. And this is about getting intentional about showing your spouse that you value them. Listen, I cannot stress this enough. This is something that you not only have to say, but you have to show that your spouse is valuable. Let me say it again. You don't just say that your spouse is valued or they're valuable, but you also have to show that they are valuable and an asset to your life. A great way for you to do this is to communicate that in their love language. And we've talked about the 5 love languages here on this show. We've also had Dr. Gary Chapman on the podcast talking about the 5 love languages. If you are not sure what your love language is or what your spouse's is, we encourage you to go ahead and take that quiz. It is a great way to connect with your spouse in a way that they will appreciate. And then as you show that your spouse is valuable to you, you know how to communicate that in a way that they will best receive it. Not to say that you have to wait to take the quiz to start showing them that they're valuable. Oh no, we're not going to let you off the hook that easy. You can start today. Write a simple love note to say that how much I value you in this relationship. I see you when you stay up late and pack a lunch for us. I see you when you are getting the kids and things together. I appreciate how you're taking the time to listen to me after I've had a long day, even though you're tired yourself. That is how you can start communicating that your spouse is valuable, and even talking about maybe the career that they have and how awesome they are and how they continue to support the family, like whatever that looks like as you express value. I think it is something that we have to make time to do. It's something that Valentine's Day offers a great opportunity for you to do. And even if you start by just picking up a card, like I said, you can do a handwritten note, but maybe words aren't your things. Go check out the cards in the language that's already there provided for you. Spend a little time in the aisles. I know my parents are like that. They like to really read all the Valentine's Day or all the greeting cards so that they're picking just the right one. And it's something that I would encourage you to do if you feel like, I'm not really good with words. It's okay. There are words already provided for you, or Google a poem. Get creative. Or if you just know what your spouse's favorite food is, hey, guess what? For Valentine's Day, maybe get that favorite thing, even if it's Chick-fil-A. During our military date night, that was something that Megan and Keith Brown shared, that they may just have a Chick-fil-A date night because that is her favorite. Winning, right? So showing that your spouse's value can be something as simple as that. And then I also, reflecting on military date night that we just had, which was presented by Military Marriage Day, Bill Farrell gave a great example of how to show your spouse that you value them. And he talked about how you can break out this week long build up to a date night, right? He talked about on Monday, say, tell your spouse that you're planning on having a date night, maybe on Friday, on Tuesday. Maybe you write a note of some sort and give them some idea of what they should wear. You're not telling them yet where they're going, but maybe give them an idea of wear something like this. He talked about, and again, this is for the guys. So, if ladies, if you're listening, maybe give this advice to your spouse. Your spouse might like this too. So that's Monday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe there are flowers bought, or maybe your spouse's favorite thing, saying, I can't wait to get with you on Friday. On Thursday, maybe you do something else that's special. You maybe let them know where they're going or what the activity is. Maybe it's enjoying one of their favorite pastimes or a nice restaurant. Whatever that is. Friday, you have an amazing date night. And then Saturday, you pop something in the mail, maybe earlier in the week, so that they get it on Saturday, snail mail style. I know. I was like, okay, Bill, this is some good stuff. And you get a letter or something that says, you know what, you made my week amazing. Like, just that build up. It shows that you took time to acknowledge your spouse on every single day of the week. Ladies, you can apply this to your husband. Super Bowl is coming up. Maybe you do something similar if they're a football type of person, and you plan for that and you speak to the things that they really enjoy. It goes both ways, but definitely showing value that your spouse, your partner, is valued in a relationship is huge. And it is our 4th V for Valentine's Day. So wrapping it all up is the fifth and final V for Valentine's Day. And that last V is for victory. Everybody get the cheerleader arms up. V for victory. Boom. And the reason why I picked victory as the last one is because we want you to win in your relationships. And when you win, I win, we win as a community, because of course, we are all about being, hold on, let me show my shirt, Mill Marriage Strong. That's what we're all about here at Hearts and Stripes Podcast. And we really do want your relationships to win. So a tip that we love to give here is to share the wins in your relationship with your spouse. Take some time and look back at, even if it's the week, the month, the year, or since you've been married, what are some wins in your relationship? And we're all about celebrating, which is why we have Military Marriage Day. But celebration really does shift things for people. And I noticed that when you have celebrations and you focus on those victories and those wins, that you are now focusing your attention on a positive. You're focusing your attention on progress, as opposed to maybe always complaining or going back and forth with one another. It starts to get you building some momentum and maybe laughing and remembering some good times when you celebrate those wins and when you focus on the victories that you've had in your relationship. So the fifth and final V for Valentine's Day is not one that I want you to take lightly. This is something that you can do right now in your relationship, especially for Valentine's Day. So that is it for this episode of Hearts and Stripes Podcast. let me recap those 5 V's for Valentine's Day. Again, that is validate. You want to validate your spouse. V for vacation, planning opportunities to connect and maybe even get away. Vows, reflecting and reminding one another of the commitment that you made to one another. Value, to show that you value your spouse, and showing them and saying that they are valued. And the 5th and final V for Valentine's Day is victory. So before I let you go, we absolutely have to do my favorite segment of the podcast, which is our heart tracks. So you can find the entire list of heart tracks on Spotify. That's Heart Tracks 3. Can you imagine? It's the 3rd season and we're already on Heart Tracks 3. So Heart Tracks 3 on Spotify. That's where you can find the full playlist. And remember, our heart tracks are just nice reminders of the conversations, the resources, the tools, the tips, the ahas that we have right here on Hearts and Stripes podcast in a playlist form that you can turn on while you're cleaning, while you're driving, or maybe while you're trying to set the mood. Whatever works for you. But today's heart track, of course, is Happy Valentine's Day by Outcast for Valentine's Day, right? So I love this track just because it's really fun. It helps us get in the mood of this holiday. But also I love the quotes, if you will, or the lyric in the song that says, love will rule supreme. And I truly do believe that. I feel like love conquers a multitude of things, and I want to see you expressing and showing more love in your relationship. That's how we get to that 5th V for Valentine's Day, which is victory. So please go ahead, listen to the full playlist on Spotify. But today's heart track, shout out to Outcast, Happy Valentine's Day. So that's all for Hearts and Stripes podcast. I can't wait to get with you again next week as we continue to strengthen military marriages. See y'all.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.